We're going to go over some general lab safety things. Some of this stuff I talked to you about yesterday and other things we have not. But I did mention yesterday that safety is my number one priority and my number one concern. That's takes precedent over everything else. Failure to follow the safety rules will be addressed immediately and severely. If it's something, it might be you sent to the office with an office referral, or it may be if it's serious enough that we ask to get you removed from the class and taking a 0 for the class. Any accidents, no matter how slight, please let me know. I cannot see everything that's going on all the time in the lab, so make sure that if there's anything, no matter how slight, that you let me know. Safety glasses, as I said yesterday, must be worn at all times when we're in the lab. There's no exceptions to those. But also keep an eye on other people. Sometimes we don't realize it. We might go out there and not realize we don't have our safety glasses on, so make sure that if you notice somebody else not wearing them, that you inform them. When it comes to dress, some of these things we went over yesterday, some of these things that we have not. First of all, long pants are required. Also, you are not allowed to wear open-toed shoes or sandals. Some of the things we didn't talk about that are just as important is before we go out in the lab, you need to remove any loose clothing if possible, or fasten it back. Like if you're wearing a sweatshirt with a t-shirt underneath it, we want to remove that sweatshirt. If you're wearing long sleeves, but it's not a sweatshirt, it's something that you can remove, then you need to roll your sleeves up. If you have a sweatshirt, let's say you're just wearing a sweatshirt with a hoodie, you need to roll your sleeves up, but if you have like strings hanging down, you need to tuck those in. We don't want anything that could potentially be caught in a machine, which could cause you injury. So rolling up the sleeves above your elbow. If you have long hair, you need to tie it back before operating any machines. Same thing like if you're wearing jewelry or things along those lines. We want to remove that jewelry, anything that would be dangling, especially chains and bracelets and things like that could potentially be caught in the machine. If you cannot wear gloves to protect your hands. We're going to want our hands clear so nothing, again, gloves are loose, might get caught within a machine and cause you injury. Some of the basic things that could get people injured is, the running and the throwing objects, horseplay or messing around, if you want to call it, anything that could potentially distract others or harm others or hit somebody. So you throwing something, a tape measure to somebody else may distract somebody who's on the miter saw, or it may, go awry and hit them, or, anything that could cause somebody else to be put in danger is absolutely forbidden. So stay on task. Don't do things that would distract others. And also make sure that you are not talking to people while they're using a machine. And if you're using the machine, make sure that you are not losing attention to what you're doing. You don't want to look up and watch what somebody's doing while you're making a cut, because then we risk injury there. So stay focused on the machine that you're using as you're using it. That's why distractions can be dangerous. If you have scraps of wood, like near a table saw, on the saw after you've made a cut, or on a miter saw or whatever, obviously, always wait until the machine is completely stopped. But then rather than use your hands to push that scraps away, get a little piece of wood or a brush and scrape those scraps of wood away. If you're carrying like a long board, carry it with it's the front end high, so you're not ramming into somebody. If you're using a tool with sharp edges, let's say for a chisel, for example, make sure that when you're carrying it, obviously you're carrying it down. But when you're using it away from your body. So you would clamp your wood into place, and then if you're chiseling, you would chisel away. That way, if it slips, it's not going to go into your torso and cut you or whatever. Make sure that you're using those sharper tools facing away from you, the sharp end away from you as you use them. Kind of goes in common sense, but you'd be surprised how many people make these kind of mistakes. If you're in doubt about a tool, you're not sure how to use it, even if you've taken the test and you're uncomfortable on it, ask me for help, and I will help you and walk you through it. When in doubt, ask. Anytime we're working in the lab, any new machine we're working on, ask me first. After the semester goes on and I feel more comfortable, um, some machines you won't have to ask every time you use, but especially early on, if you're going to use something, make sure that you ask me. That way I can observe. There's some machines I want to be there no matter what. Um, like if you're using the router, I want to be right there with you. Or you're making a dado cut, I want to be right there with you. Very rarely do we use special setups or remove safety equipment, but if we do, like there are some cuts that can be made without the guard on the table saw. Those are going to be rare in this class. If we're doing them, it has to be approved by me and supervised directly by myself. All right, that's it for the general safety. We'll take a quiz on that, and then we'll move on to the next thing.